I am multitasking. I am trying to record this through an app with a screen recorder. And I apologize also for the bad audio. I'm using my laptop, so I apologize ahead of time if the audio is really, really bad. But I really wanted to hop on here and say, do not give up on your dream. Do not quit on your dream. And this is something that I myself sometimes face. And sometimes when you go blind, it feels like your life comes to a stop at certain things because it feels like you really cannot move forward unless you have this next step, and yet you cannot achieve this next step because of situations or prejudices around your situation. So for instance, I am in Canada, my husband is in the Philippines. I do not have employment, so I really don't have an income to try and move forward. I want to go back to teaching music again, but I don't have a location to teach. However, I also, because I don't have employment, I cannot get a location. So do you see how it just kind of feels like I'm spinning my wheels in a giant circle? And I look around and they may have a full-time job. They're looking at, buying their first home, having a family, having kids. And I feel like, my life is come to a stop. And sometimes you can just say, forget it. I'm tired of putting all this work out there for almost next to nothing in return. And I understand that. And a lot of people don't, they really don't understand it. I'm only 29 years old, and sometimes, if I'm being honest, sometimes I really feel like my life is over, like my life stopped after I went blind, because it's so different than what I was used to before. I haven't found my routine yet. And I don't think that there's a time limit for that, because it all depends on what area you live in, what you do for a living, what support systems you have in place. Some people, their life seems to be quite a bit easier. They seem to have, they have the finances that they need, that they're not worried if their bills are going to get paid. Sometimes they have the right resources. They have the right connections. They have the right resources. So they know how to move forward in something. And, I want to encourage you, don't give up on your dream. Don't give up on your goals, even though it might feel like you're not going forward as fast as you would like. So for me, I feel like I want 5 inches of progress. That's what I want. I want 5 inches of progress, but it feels like I'm only moving 1 millimeter at a time. I want to go 5 steps forward, and I feel like I'm only taking a half step forward. That can be really discouraging. And you have people who say, well, you're never going to reach that goal. That's never going to happen for you. That's not realistic. I believe for yourself, you do need to look at your goals and your dreams and say, okay, is this realistic for me? One of my goals is I want to own a house that I can board out the bedrooms as a form of income and also teach music out of my home. And in that way, I'm self-sufficient financially, my bills will be covered, and I can take care of myself financially without needing to rely on a system, without needing to rely on any kind of support. Where I live in Ontario, Canada, and in our province, there is a disability, I don't know if you want to call it pension, but it's a financial support that is offered for people who are on disabilities. It is not a lot of money. I am very thankful, and I really appreciate that our province has realized, because of stigmas and prejudices against people who have a disability, they are not usually offered the same work. They're not given the same opportunities, and so they try to help compensate for that so they don't end up in shelters and they don't end up in bad life situations. So I appreciate that that program is there. Unfortunately, there are a lot of prejudices. People who find out that you're on a benefit act like you are lazy, that you have no interest in work, and that you don't try. You cannot get rich on any kind of disability. I just want to put that out there. You will not get rich on disability. So even if you think that there is a person who's taking advantage and you don't live in their shoes, so you don't know what their disability is or is not, a lot of disabilities are actually invisible. I see that a lot when I'm out. And when people see my eyes for the first time, they know I'm blind, but it's the first time that they've seen my eyes, they have a hard time believing that I am blind. Also because I work really hard on how I am presented. So if I go somewhere, I try to look nice, I try to walk with my head held high, I try to have confidence. And because of that, people doubt my blindness. It happens a lot with different things. And sometimes it feels like other people's judgments is holding your life back. Don't let that bother you. I know that's easier said than done. You know, sometimes you'll try out for a job and you don't get that job just because someone else has a prejudice or a stigma, and they really don't have any clue about you being able to work in a workspace, being blind, and you know you can do it. Your family knows you can do it. Your friends know you can do it. And this employer who knows nothing about you has made the decision that you cannot do it. And I know how frustrating that is, but don't give up on your goals. Do not give up on your dreams. And I know that's easier said than done, but if that is a goal, that is a dream, keep working on it. And don't get discouraged when it's not going as fast as you would like. It's very hard to be patient. I am not a very patient person. You might say, well, how can I achieve my goals? How can I not give up? Okay, so I don't know if you've heard about vision boards or something like that. I always have never really felt how I stood about vision boards, but you know what? Make a list of goals. So whether you braille it or maybe you have a charm, you can go to a store, to the dollar store or something, get a really cheap charm that you can feel, that it will remind you of a goal that you have. And every day remind yourself of that goal. Make a list of things you need to complete your goal. And sometimes as you make that list, you'll say, well, I need another list for this list. Fine. Take your goal and break it down into little pieces at a time. Break it down smaller and smaller and smaller until you find, well, I can do this week and I can do that next week, you know. And sometimes it is waiting. But don't give up on your goal. For me, my biggest struggle is finances. Like I said, it's finances. That's my biggest struggle. And you know, I've tried for 3 years to get full-time work, and it just has not worked for me. And I would be lying if I said I never got discouraged about that. I would be lying if I said that I've accepted that. For me, that's very hard because I feel like I don't get a job because of other people's judgments. 2-week probation periods that are offered to adults with learning disabilities, those same 2 weeks aren't even offered to me. You can start feeling very frustrated and angry that you're not given the same chance. Like you have to prove yourself harder than everyone else just to get a job. So believe me when I say I understand that it's frustrating. I understand that. But you're the one at the end of your life who has to live your life. No one else. And for me, I would rather die trying, working towards a goal, and never achieve it, but know that I tried my best to get that goal, then give up and sit back and have nothing. And you might say, well, you have the same results either way. No, I don't. Because one way, I gave everything for what I wanted, for what I believed. And that's fulfilling in and of itself, because at least I know I did everything I could. As the other one, you would always be wondering, well, if I would have done this, would I have gotten my goal? And I think it is important to sit back and reevaluate your goals and say, is this something that I can truly accomplish? The goal that I want, I believe I can get there. It just might take me 2 or 3 times longer than somebody else. And I'm hoping that my videos somehow, some way, somewhere, will provide education to employers so that they know I can be employed. You don't need to look at me as a liability. And most people with disabilities do think outside the box. Most people are resourceful. And one thing in Canada is, if a employer hires somebody with a disability, usually up to 50% of their wages is compensated by the government. So the company doesn't even have to pay me full minimum wage because half of it is going to be compensated by the government. And if I need any equipment to be involved in the workplace, maybe I need a braille cash register, maybe I need some other device, the company themselves don't have to pay or provide for that. There is a program with Ontario, and I think it's on all of Canada. If I have fellow Canadians watching, please correct me if I'm wrong. But they will pay for some of the devices that I may need, adaptive devices that I need at work. So the company doesn't have to pay out of pocket. But see, none of this is general knowledge to the public. I didn't even know this about the world of blindness in Canada until maybe last year, and I had been blind for 4 or 5 years already. So you really don't need to get discouraged. Times are changing, times are getting better, and you might say, well, all of the craziness that's going on in the world right now, it's really thrown my plans into a loop. I am off the rails because I got derailed because of all of this. Don't give up. Keep doing what you can do, and who cares who sits back and judges you? You know, you might be trying your best and someone else doesn't believe you. That doesn't matter, okay? Don't waste your life trying to blend into a world when you were created to stand out. It does not matter how much I try to fit in. Because I am blind, because my life is different, I am different. And that's all part of accepting blindness, and it can be very, very hard to think about that. It can be very hard to accept that. But you can, and you will, make a difference and make a life that you want. Some people don't. Some people just want to sit back and don't want to put the effort out. That's okay. But if you want to put that effort out and you want to do something with your life, go for it. Don't give up. You can do it. So thank you so much for watching. If you can, I would love it if you gave my video a thumbs up. And also too, if you want to help my channel out, if you would watch one video from my YouTube channel every day, that just helps SEO in YouTube realize that, you know, I'm trying to put content, I cannot speak English today, put content out there, and it gets me watch minutes, which really helps me on YouTube and other platforms to become more visible. I love hearing from you guys. I may not always get back to comments. I'm so sorry that I'm so bad at that, but I love hearing from you guys. Definitely write down any questions or things you would like me to talk about on my channel. Totally write those down in the comments below, and I will try and do that. If you have questions about, you know, where I live and how I deal with different things in life, again, go ahead, do that. Please subscribe to my channel and share the content. If you're on any kind of social media, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Reddit, whatever, please go ahead and share my content as well, as that helps me have a bigger outreach. And I'm hoping that we can make a very, very big difference in the next couple of years for the world of the blind, because a lot of things need to change. I feel like things have not been updated since the times of Helen Keller. I feel like, you know, Anne Sullivan really did a lot with Helen Keller, really did a lot to raise awareness, but I feel like no one has kind of stepped up, and you know, we don't live in that time anymore. I feel like no one has updated with the times. So I would love for feedback, I would love for sharing, and I'm always open to collaboration. So if you are just starting a channel and you want to collaborate, I am more than happy to set up a collaboration with you. I am also doing, I will be doing blind gift boxes where I trade a box of mysterious items, all clean, all brand new items with other YouTubers as well. This gives our channels content, and it helps us get more views, and it really helps to unite the world of blind creators, because I think it's time that we view each other as being in the same boat and not competing. We're not competing with each other. If we help build each other up and build up the blind community, we can definitely see bigger improvements. So thank you so much for watching. I also now have a link down below. It's a PayPal link, or a PayPal me link, if you would like to donate $5, $10, $20, or whatever. If any money that comes through those links, it will either be put into our Canadian Housing Fund for us to get a house, or it will be used. I have a lot of really bad health problems, and I'm on prescriptions that are not covered under any insurance, so I pay for those out of pocket. and I also have to take quite a bit of supplements. So any money that comes in through those links, it either will be put into our Canadian Housing Fund, or it will be put into my health fund that helps to pay for things like that. So thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate all of you who reach out to me with questions, or maybe you've private messaged me on Facebook or emailed me with just messages of encouragement. I think that's awesome, and remember, please do not give up, and do not quit your dreams or your goals. We may not see the progress that we want, but it will work out eventually. It has to. When you put work into something, it eventually starts working out. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you all later. Thank you. Bye.